Nuclear energy has been in the news a lot lately. People are talking about it more and more, due to the depletion of fossil fuels and the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. This has made nuclear energy a hot topic, but most people know very little about it. And we have a lot of myths and wild guesses about it. So today, we've compiled a list of 10 interesting facts about nuclear energy that may help you become more informed. So let's start. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get notified of our new videos. 10. If you're exposed to radiations, then get naked. This may seem like a strange fact, but bear with us. Assume you were exposed to nuclear radiation for some reason. It could be a plant explosion or something else, but you are now exposed. Unless you're some creep who roams the streets naked, you've got to be wearing something, right? As a result, our clothes absorb the majority of the radiation, so when exposed to it, simply remove them. This will assist you in eliminating 90% of the radioactive substance to which you were exposed. When there is a radiation leak, trust us, nobody cares if you are running naked to save your life. So if some Karens and Kivens stop complaining, don't worry. They will not be alive for long due to the radioactive substances on their clothing. 9. A possibility that nuclear energy can be much safer. Nuclear energy has the potential to be much safer. Nuclear power plants use the nuclear fission process, in which one atom is split into two, producing a large amount of energy. This is then processed and stored in order to offer energy to the public. Some scientists believe that if energy is generated through nuclear fusion, in which atoms combine to form one, the entire process of nuclear energy generation will be much safer. Scientists are still working on nuclear fusion, and no method of producing energy has been devised. Scientists should be able to come up with anything shortly. What do you believe will make this energy form safer? 8. Is that the Mars rovers uses nuclear energy. Previous Mars missions used solar energy to power the rover. However, the solar panels would often become covered in dust, which would reduce the amount of energy produced and cause the rover to slow down. Even on days when the rover received less sunshine, this posed a problem. In order to solve this issue, NASA developed the MMRTP, or Multi-Mission Radioisotope Thermoelectric Generator. This device uses the heat generated by decaying plutonium dioxide to power the Curiosity rover. This shows that nuclear energy can be very useful in space operations. However, the energy obtained from solar wells is not always sufficient for certain operations. 7. We have changed nuclear disposal ways by the U.S. government. The federal government is proposing to move all nuclear waste to a unique location in Yucca Mountain, Nevada. The people in the area and the state in which they live are opposed to the plan. Some people are opposed to the idea, given that nobody wants a nuclear waste dome built anywhere near their homes, especially not in close proximity to important cultural or natural landmarks like mountains. If the proposal is carried out as intended, the locals will not be able to access the mountain, which may result in a loss of employment opportunities and natural resources for the local population. Furthermore, as a consequence of this, Nevada's tourism industry would suffer since an increasing number of people will be reluctant to visit the state out of concern that they may be exposed to radiation there. So, who do you think is right? The state or the federal government? 6. The energy form is not completely renewable. Nuclear power plants don't run on fossil fuels like coal or gas, but they do need a few components derived from the Earth. The majority of power plants run on uranium, which can be found deep below the surface of the Earth and needs to be mined in order to obtain it. Atoms of uranium undergo a reaction and are split into two distinct components. This generates a significant amount of heat, which in turn causes steam to be produced. The turbine generators are rotated by the steam, which results in the production of energy. Therefore, the use of nuclear energy is a more environmentally friendly form of energy than the burning of fossil fuels. However, mining is still necessary, and eventually all of the Earth's uranium resources could be used up as a result. 5. We have the chance of radiation. Nuclear power plants are built in remote parts of the world, far from places where people live. This is done as a safety measure so that no radiation can get out and hurt anyone. However, we are not really in danger from radiation from nuclear power plants. Long-term use of phones, laptops, and tablets is much more dangerous than short-term use. We are much more likely to get radiation from these things than from nuclear power plants. This is because safety rules are followed when building nuclear power plants, but most of the time we don't follow the rules when it comes to our electronic devices. So we need to be careful about not only nuclear power plants but also the phone you are using to watch this video. 4. We have how it is not as dangerous as we think. Radiation from nuclear power plants is a significant issue and a cause for concern regarding safety. However, if we look at the statistics, it is up to you to decide whether or not fossil fuels are just as dangerous as other energy sources, if not more so. Since the beginning of the production of nuclear energy, there have been a total of 3 major accidents involving nuclear energy. These accidents are referred to as the Fukushima disaster, the Chernobyl disaster, and the 3 Mile Island disaster. When it comes to the use of energy derived from fossil fuels, there have been 10 big catastrophes in only the past 25 years. The oil spill caused by BP was by far the greatest and had the most severe consequences. At this time, the nuclear power plant accident that occurred at Chernobyl in Ukraine is considered to be the worst ever. As a direct result of this catastrophe, there were approximately 30 people who lost their lives due to the radiation, and approximately $7 billion worth of property was destroyed. Some estimates suggest that the BP oil spill was responsible for the loss of 18,000 jobs, in addition to the death of thousands of different species of marine life. It is predicted that the damage to property will cost approximately $1 billion. So, which one do you think is more ferocious? Comment down below. 3. It is not as uncommon as we think it is. In the United States, nuclear energy accounts for over 20% of the electricity used in homes and businesses. There are more than 100 nuclear power plants in the United States that run constantly to generate electricity. However, these plants were not built recently. The oldest plant was built in 1979, meaning it has been operational for nearly 40 years. The country has always tried to build more nuclear power plants. But since the 3 Mile Island accident in the 1980s, not many have been built. With newer, safer technology, we should be able to build more efficient energy sources. 2. Nuclear energy is in no way affected by the prices of coal and gas. The cost of nuclear power is not affected by the increasing prices of coal and gas because nuclear energy does not require the use of these resources. This is good news for those who rely on nuclear power, as they will not be adversely affected by the price hikes. Although the cost of nuclear energy does fluctuate, these shifts are not nearly as drastic or frequent as the ones seen in other energy markets. This is because nuclear power is not directly tied to the cost of gasoline. Therefore, even if the price of electricity goes up for some people, those whose homes are powered by nuclear energy will likely continue to pay the same amount as before. 1. The biggest nuclear power plant in the whole solar system is not on Earth. No, we're not talking about extraterrestrials here. The sun is the most powerful power plant in the entire solar system. Can you believe that a nuclear power plant on its own is the most natural form of energy? This is because all of the light and energy that the sun emits is the result of nuclear reactions. On its core, it fuses 620 million metric tons of hydrogen and produces 606 million metric tons of helium per second. This entire process is similar to how nuclear reactors generate heat and energy. So which of these facts completely fade your mind? Let us know in the comments section below. That's all for today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more videos from our channel, subscribe and make sure to turn on the bell icon.